Hey guys, Nthefastlane here. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to fix a oil consumption problem. Now with this vehicle it's a 3.6 liter. I believe that this problem exists with the 2003 all the way up to 2013. 2014 I think Cadillac changed a few things and it solved the oil consumption problem. If you need to purchase any of the items in my video, just click shop this video underneath the video. If you're on my website, if you're on my YouTube channel, I always pin it to the top comments. It'll say shop this video or in the about me section. Back in April 7, 2005, they released a service bulletin for the 3.2 liter CTS, and it was 2003 to 2004 models. Now, what they had was, it says oil leaking from engine cam, valve cover seals during extreme cold weather operations. This actually did it during the winter, during the summer. What happened was it was getting clogged up with the PCV system, and it was causing extreme crankcase pressure, pushing all the oil out, the valve cover seals, you name it. It was coming out, cam seals, crank seals, it didn't matter. It just had a lot of pressure in there. And I did a repair video on that. I'll put a link in the description if you want to check that out. But this service bulletin kind of went over all the basics of what you needed to do to fix this. Well, they replaced it with a higher neck oil cap, and then they changed out these hoses. It was a kit that came with, instead of the one piece, they actually gave you new hoses and all that, where I show you how to fix it without going through all that hassle. But the main part was they told you to drill out these holes a little bit bigger on the, I forget what they call this mechanism, the engine vent hose adapter, secondary engine vent hose adapter. Now the 3.6 liter does not have this system, but what Cadillac is common for is they make the holes on their ports, whether it be the PCV system or in this instant the vent hose adapter, too small. I mean, this was literally the size of a needle. It was ridiculously small. No air could get through there, so it was building pressure up. And they pretty much told you to take a 4mm, let's see, they told you to take two existing 1mm and then extend it to a 4mm hole. So basically you were, the number 13 right here, you were to drill that out to 4mm and then clean everything out and reassemble it. What you're looking at is the 3.6 liter. It's from models 2004 all the way up to 2013 is pretty much what we're going to be working on. And what you need to look for, or what you originally need to look at, is there's a PCV valve down in here, which I'll show you in a minute. But before I do, we're going to go ahead and take this plastic cover off. And in order to take this plastic cover off, you have to do a couple of things first. First, we have to take off this oil cap. So you're going to take this one all the way off. Just set that aside. And then we have the power steering cap here. So take that off. Set that aside. And now we're going to go ahead and pull up. You couldn't pull it before because the caps would keep it in place. So come from the front, just give it a little pull. And we'll set this aside. Go ahead and put your oil cap back on just so we don't get any contaminants in the engine while we're working around it. And also put your power steering cap back on. We'll take these off when we need to put the cover back on. Now in order to make life easier to get to the PCV valve, you can take out this hydraulic right here for your hood. And all you do is get a little flathead screwdriver and you pop these clips on the back out. And then it pulls out. I'll show you a close-up how you do it. So you're going to do this for the top and the bottom. I'm just going to show you the top real quick. Stick this little flathead under there. You pull it out, and then as you're pulling out, lift up on the hood and pull out. And then when you want to put it back in, you just let the clip go back in. You push till it clicks, and then it won't come back out. You do that for the top and the bottom, and then you can put a broomstick under the hood and get the hood a lot higher up. Then you don't have to worry about that hydraulic being in your way trying to get to that PCV valve. On the bottom, the same thing. This little clip right here. Stick your screwdriver in there, turn it, and then you pull it out. Alright, I'm going to show you where this PCV valve is located. It's on the passenger side, so if you're standing right in front of your vehicle, it's going to be on the passenger side. So I got this flashlight right here. if you come down in here, that's the PCV valve right there. So basically you just pull up on that rubber boot, then it exposes the PCV valve, and then right after that you're going to pull the PCV valve out of that pipe right there. You're probably looking at this thing thinking, I can't just pull up on it, and you're right, there's an actual clip on it. I'm going to show it to you real quick. It's kind of hard to see, but right here on the left side, there's a little clip right there. You can barely see it, but you'll be able to feel it with your fingers, and what you're going to do is push that this way. So if you can watch my hand and I don't get in the way of the camera, take your thumb, grab it. There's a little clip right there. You're going to push it forward, so push it forward and pull up. So you can see that clip right there. So this is the clip right here that you want to push back. That clip right there. See that? Next we're going to get some long needle nose or any kind of pliers, and we're going to try to get some leverage on it. So we're going to come down like this. This is the only way I can do it in front of the camera, unfortunately. Slide up under. And be careful you don't crack anything. You're just going to lift straight up. Now you can see it's coming up a little bit. So that just came out, and I'm going to have to find it under the vehicle now. Here's the culprit. What we have here is the PCV valve. Majority of cars have these, and pretty much they didn't drill the holes big enough or cast the holes big enough when they made it. So the top hole's small, the two bottom holes are really small, and what that causes is a lot of crankcase pressure. So if air's trying to escape and it can't escape fast enough, it's what they call positive pressure in the crankcase. And basically you want either negative pressure in there or just neutral pressure. And that comes in with catch cans. A lot of race applications actually have motorized catch cans where they actually create a vacuum inside, and you actually get more horsepower because there's less positive pressure in there, and it just allows everything to move faster. So, yep, that's pretty much what's going on. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and drill this out, and I'll show you what size drill bits you need for the bottom and the top, and this should fix your problem. If you're still having a little bit of problems after this, I would suggest adding a catch can to your system, and I'll put links for that in my, actually I'll just put it in my store and you can purchase it there if you need it. The drill bit we're going to be using for the top is going to be a 764. So for the top right here, we're going to be using a 764. And for the bottom, these two bottom holes, we're going to be using a 564. We're going to take the PCV valve and put it in a vise. Don't tighten it super tight, just get it snug because we don't want to damage the bottom. It's still got a seal in that rubber grommet. Now we're going to take the 764 drill bit. Now it's time for the bottom. Go ahead, flip it upside down. Tighten in the vise a little bit. And then we'll drill out the two bottom holes with the 564 drill bit. Now that we have the bottom holes drilled to 564 and we have the top hole drilled to 764, you're going to want to go ahead and clean this out with some brake cleaner thoroughly. So make sure you clean this out. You don't want any kind of metal shavings in there because if that gets in the engine, it can damage it. So go ahead and take some brake cleaner and put the straw in the top hole. And then do the same thing for the bottom. This will just ensure that the actual PCV valve is actually cleaned out and will allow air passage. Sometimes they get clogged up, so you're going to want to do this anyway. Now that that's done, you can hit it with some computer duster or even hit it with your air hose on your compressor. So we're just going to put it like this. And that should be it. Now that we have the PCV valve drilled out, we're going to go ahead and put it right back where we got it from, which happens to be this hole right here. So we're going to go ahead and put it right back in there, and when you put it in there, just make sure that it's completely flush, and then we'll put the clip back on, and that's it. So we'll take the PCV valve and we'll stick it right in that hole. Go ahead and take the back end of a screwdriver or hammer, wood, whatever, even a piece of 2x4. Just give it a little tap. Feel it? And that looks like it's flush. Now that that's all flush, all you're going to do is just take the clip. You don't have to mess with it. You just push it right on top until you hear it click. There we go. It clicked in. And that's it. We're done. Now it's time to put the engine cover back on. And before we do, remember we put the oil cap on. Take that off and take off the power steering reservoir cap. Set those aside. And now we're able to put it back on. So right here, this goes in the center grommet, right here. And then you have 4 other grommets that line up with these studs right here. So all you do is just kind of get it lined up in the center. Just use your power steering and oil cap to line it up. And then once you get it lined up, the holes are lined up, just push down, and that's it. Now we'll go ahead and put our oil cap back on and our power steering reservoir cap. And that's it. So on an ending note, PCV valves definitely cause high crankcase pressure. And when you get high crankcase pressure, it causes lots of seals to leak, including valve stem seals will start leaking, valve cover gaskets will start leaking, and you can experience seeing oil inside your spark plug holes. So when you pull your spark plug wires out and you got oil down in there, that could be a telltale sign that you got a clogged up PCV valve. Or like with GM, they didn't make the holes big enough. Another thing could be that you have bad piston rings, high mileage vehicles with bad piston rings, or a fresh built engine that you didn't break the rings in properly. Sometimes that happens. Cracked piston ring can also be that, but you would be losing compression. So to finalize it, pretty much if you start getting oil blow by still, where you're getting oil in your intake manifold, then, or your throttle body, then what I would suggest is get yourself a catch can. They're not too expensive. I'll put them in my store, and the catch cans come with diagrams on where you need to pretty much plumb it in. So that might be something that you might want to consider. I've heard of this permanently fixing a problem, but sometimes there could be excess crankcase pressure that you just can't get rid of, and that's where a catch can would come in. So if you like this video, leave a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, hey, you can leave a thumbs down. That's all right. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. But I'd appreciate it, and go ahead and leave a comment. And don't forget to hit join. If you don't hit join, YouTube's got this. They change their algorithm all the time. Before it was the bell. Now I think it's join. If you hit subscribe, you'll subscribe, but you more than likely won't get notified of my new videos being uploaded. So if you want to get notified, go ahead and hit that join button on top of the subscribe. So hit subscribe, then join, and then you'll get notified of my new video uploads.